Hello, hello, Dr. Brett Spradlin. We are at Divine Design Natural Health in early April 2022. And, well, is there anybody here? Is there? Oh, there is. Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure there were at least 2 people here, and I heard 3 voices, so we're in good shape. So, you don't have allergies. The name of the class tonight, I know it's kind of a stretch, but by the end of this class, which we will be out of here, I promise, we'll be done by at least 4 hours, 3.5. But by the end of this class, you will say, wait, that makes total sense. Maybe I don't have allergies, right? How many of you know we live in Cleveland, which when I first moved here and when I first met Jane, 8 years ago now, one of the first things I learned was that Cleveland is the second worst place in the world for allergies. Has anyone heard that? We've all heard that, right? When you first moved here? Why? Because of the valley that it's in, the ragweed, the dogweed, the catweed, the boyweed, the girlweed, whatever, all the weeds, the trees and the air and the cats and the dogs. Everybody's allergic to everything, right? I took note driving around. I thought, man, there are allergy centers, immunology centers, asthma centers, allergy and asthma centers everywhere. There's almost as many allergy and asthma centers as there are pharmacies, churches, fast food restaurants, and banks, which is for Cleveland, that's saying quite a bit. So we're going to cover all that tonight. So alert, 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 here comes allergy season. Followed by what? Right after allergy season, what happens? Huh? Flu season. Yes, very good. And then right after flu season, what happens? Allergy season. And then right after allergy season, what happens? Flu season. And then after flu season, allergy season. You see how it works? You're never free of anything, right? So just keep that in mind. So let's get right into things. You do not have allergies. Check this out. You never change things by fighting the existing reality. I love this quote. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. That's R. Buckminster Fuller. He was a futurist, an architect, an economist. He was a genius. And here's the thing I see frequently. All of these doctors, these medical doctors that are kind of, what was the freedommed.org, I think, is something I saw just recently, where all these medical doctors are waking up and they're getting out of the tyranny and they're saying, we're going to set up this alternate system. No, it's not an alternate system. You're not fighting the existing reality. You're not changing anything. You got to build an entirely new model. Why? Here's the key. The whole medical model of Western Americanized pharmaceutical medicine shows you this. If the doctors are not in league with the pharmacies, where are they going to get their drugs? So you can set up another little freedom clinic over here, medical doctor clinic over here, and do certain things, but where are they going to get their drugs if the government pulls their DEA number and you can't get the drugs? Because your medical doctor depends upon drug writing prescription therapy, right? So you can set up an alternate system, but it's not a separate new model at all. This right here, what we've done here, separate new model. And you're going to see how we've changed your entire understanding of healthcare because you've never been allowed to believe it was this easy. Okay? So I love this quote, and that applies to many things. Finances, church, everything. You can't just build on a crappy foundation. You got to start over. Okay, next one. Here's a couple little things that I want you to keep in mind while we go through this. Truth passes through 3 phases. First, they're going to ridicule you. Secondly, they're going to fiercely and they're going to violently oppose you. And then third, everybody goes, I knew that. And you're going to see. And if we've got room in here, well, yeah, everybody scooch this way. Let's see. Next, one of the first duties, hi, everybody gets up when you guys walk in. All right. One of the first duties of the physician is to educate the masses not to take medicine. That was Dr. William Osler, famous British physician, and one of the last little housekeeping things one of the last little quotes at the very beginning that I want you to understand is this. Very simple. Allergy, an abnormal response to an otherwise normal substance, but nowadays it can include increasingly abnormal substances, as you will learn. In other words, what is the one thing that you're always told causes allergies? Let's hear it. Pollen. Pollen. Where do you hear that? Who tells you the pollen? Huh? The news. The television news. Commercials. Drug commercials. What else? Doctors. Like, you're just hammered with the idea that these damn trees are trying to reproduce. I just wish these damn trees wouldn't try to reproduce and spill all this pollen up in my nose, right? Think about the lunacy of that statement. You're not just talking about the trees. You're talking about the grasses, the shrubs, the flowers. You're talking about the trees. You're talking about every plant out there. Okay? Huh?
It's living.
It's living. That's part of the process of living, right? But you're told that even this is causing you problems. The carbon footprint stuff we've talked about, where you are the carbon they want to get rid of, right? We've talked about the terraforming of the earth in previous classes. We've talked about, the geoengineering. We've talked about all these things where the obvious solution is to go as far in the opposite direction of natural world science and living as humanly possible, such as, we've got, this climate issue that everybody's arguing about. And the obvious solution is just get rid of the humans, right? It goes in so far the opposite end of the spectrum of being sensible. It's crazy. So I want you to understand this. It's an abnormal response to an otherwise normal substance. You're always told it's pollen. What if it's not pollen?
Pet dander.
Keep that in mind. Or you're told, yes, you're right. You're also told it's pet dander. You're also told it's smoke, it's, chemical pollutants, it's dust, But dust, like my point is this. Dust is pet dander is part of life, right? People come in here all the time and they say, I'm allergic to food, I'm allergic to air, water. I got tested, my doctors told me I'm allergic to pine and fir and grass and nuts and seeds and cats and dogs and boys and girls and men and women and air and water and food. I'm like, well, you're screwed. Bend over and kiss it goodbye. What are you going to do, right? You're allergic to life. No, I don't say that. I say, well, if you were allergic to all that stuff, you wouldn't be here. Think about it. So what are you really allergic to? That's the key. That's the question. That's the thing I want you to keep here. Next. So here's a few housekeeping things. Throughout this presentation, whenever I mention the word allergies or allergy or allergen, okay, I want you guys insert air quotes in your mind. I'm not going to keep doing it. And it'd be a fun little drinking game or something. Hey, every time I say allergy, everybody in the crowd do this. Let's do that. Let's do that. Pay attention because the same information applies to, this is not just a class on allergies, this is asthma. So anyone you know with cystic fibrosis, emphysema, sinus problems, eczema, psoriasis, hives. Medical term is urticaria. You've probably heard that. Dermatitis, lung infections, mouth or throat problems. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. It doesn't end. See, this is the reason why I've been in practice 9 years. I've never done a class on allergies in the world's #2 place for allergies. Why? Why would I not capitalize on that? For this reason. Allergies are the easiest thing to fix. Why would I want to do a class on the easiest thing to fix? We fix allergies without even trying to fix allergies. Well, how? Do you use Claritin? Nope. Do you use Zyrtec? Nope. I'm going to show you. But pay attention because this all applies not just to allergies. This class is not just about allergies. All these things right here, and the list goes on. All the other stuff that you know of that people with these problems are suffering is fixed the same way as this right here. All of this. So, third point, allergies simply do not exist in the way that you have, yeah. Thank you, Jane. Allergies, come on, oh, that sucked. Come on, you go. Allergies, that's hilarious, a whole room full of people doing air quotes. You should see it from my angle, it's hilarious. Allergies simply do not exist in the way that you've always been told, okay? So just put your thinking caps on. Here, next slide, pretty please. And this is, oh no, get rid of that ad quote here. What does that mean? Never believe the lie that your body is your enemy. How many times? Put that, quote that, write that down. Never believe the lie that your body is the enemy. And never believe that your body is doing something stupidly, inefficiently, or without a very valid and sensible reason. Obviously, the next, Obviously, what's the big thing that you're always told your body is doing that it shouldn't be doing? It's a disease condition. You've all heard it. I'm going to tell you and you're going to kick yourself. What's the big thing out there where it's like your body is doing something it shouldn't do? It's messing up. Huh? Keep going, keep going, keep going. What's the big thing? Your body's attacking itself. What's that called? Autoimmune. 400 autoimmune conditions out there. They're coming up with new ones every day. It eventually will get to the point where there's an autoimmune condition for every type of cell that you have. And you know how many types of cells you have in your body? It's nuts. So for you to understand, big thing here is for you to understand your body is not doing something stupidly. Your body would never attack itself unless there was something making it do so. Just remember that. So you've never been allowed to believe that health comes from anything other than a drug or surgery, right? What are your other options in American healthcare? What are your other options? 20, 30 people in this room. What are your options other than drugs and surgery?
Burning.
That's surgery. Burning, she said burning, but that's a surgical procedure, right? You could freeze it, huh?
Poisoning.
Well, that's a drugging, right? You could, well, if you're a dermatologist, you could freeze it, you could burn it, you could shock it. Those are surgical procedures, right? What else? Anything else? American medicine? What else? You can drug it or you can cut it. That's it. Is there anything else in medicine?
Identify it and embrace it.
You could identify it and embrace it. Okay, yeah, I suppose you could. But in medicine, they're not going to, your insurance isn't going to cover that. Anything else that you're allowed to do in medicine? No. You can maybe get a camera put up your butt or down your throat, in which case that would tell you how we're going to drug you or how we're going to cut you, right? It's a procedure. What about an x-ray, CAT scan, MRI? You got all these imaging labs all over Cleveland that are almost as plentiful as the pharmacies and the banks and the fast food joints and the churches, right? But all those procedures lead to a drug or a surgery. And your insurance pays for all that for you to kill yourself more quickly, right? So just keep that in mind. Follow this journey, see what healthcare can be if we adhere to the divine design of the Creator. Here, not that Wikipedia is a, 100% reliable source, but if you I take this from a standpoint of if somebody didn't know anything and they just hop on a computer and they go to Google and go to the first place that directs them, this would be it. If you just typed in allergy and you went to the allergy article, here's one of the first things you'd see. The concept of allergy was originally introduced in 1906 by pediatrician Clement von Perquet out of Vienna, Austria, after he noticed, you can't make this up, ready? It's 100 years ago that he noticed that patients who had received injections of horse serum or smallpox vaccine usually had quicker, more severe reactions to second injections. This is one of the first things you'll find. Most people wouldn't question that. Yeah, of course. Makes sense. Doesn't everybody inject horse blood into themselves along with smallpox vaccine? He called this phenomenon allergy from the Greek words allos, meaning other, and ergon, meaning work. Now, if you remember this word here, allos, meaning other, we did a class, Which Doctors Do What, talking about all the different types of credentialed medical healthcare professionals in the United States and the world, and allopathy, or allopathic medicine, is what your medical doctors practice. The MD medical doctors are allopathic physicians. The DO medical doctors are osteopathic physicians. Allopathic physicians, they use the same word here, means other. What does pathic mean? Allopathic medicine means other disease. So they're going to give you an other disease, allopathic medicine, right? Allo here, allos and ergon meaning other work. You see how allergies, 100 years ago, he noticed people who'd received injections of horse blood. This was 100 years ago, they were giving people injections of horse blood. Why would they do that? Right? That's your first question you should ask yourself. Why the hell were they pumping horse blood in people? Smallpox vaccine usually had quicker, more severe reactions. And this genius brainchild of a pediatrician said, I wonder why the human body is freaking out. What does the Bible say about pumping other blood into your body? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's a very, very, very bad thing, isn't it? Okay, what's happening with the current schedule of shots? We'll talk about that. So I just wanted to point out, allopathic medicine, modern medicine means other disease. Look at which doctors do what, and you might want to check out the greatest healing profession the world has ever known class, where we talk about those professions compared to chiropractic. You'll never hear any of that information anywhere else, I promise you. Next slide, pretty please. So here's some frontline observations. A friend of mine told me this one time, and I thought, you know what? That's a very good observation. He's a doctor. He's about 20, now, I mean, this was years ago he told me this. He's probably 20 years ahead of me. But he said, Brett, it's funny. After over 25 years of clinical experience, he's a medical doctor. I've discovered that hardly anyone who complains of allergies in the spring is actually allergic to pollen. It's always been chemicals. What chemicals, you ask? Yes, of course I asked. Pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, fertilizers, other common pollutants. Isn't that interesting? Are chemical pollutants decreasing as we progress through time or increasing as we progress through time? Every year. What happened since 2020? Oh, I don't know. Everybody's slathering hand sanitizer all over themselves and wet wipes with Lysol. You get on a plane, they hand the crap to you for free, and then they put a mask over your face, decrease your oxygen. Is that going to drive up, is that going to crush your immune system or make it stronger? I don't know. You do the math, right? So look at this. It's right there. 25 years of clinical experience. He said, no, man, it's never been pollen. So why are your meteorologists, why are your news programs always giving you a pollen count? If medical doctors on the front lines seeing it for real know it's not pollen. Oh, by the way, Bill Gates, Anthony Fauci, all these guys, when did they ever treat a patient? They didn't. They never have. They're not on the front lines. That's why when people come to me and they go, well, how do you know this is going to work? Because I'm on the front lines, man. I'm in the foxholes. See, I see this stuff every single day. You ain't going to talk me down on this. You can have your opinions and you can do your Google search stuff and you can come back when you're ready. But I'm on the front lines. Those cats have never treated a patient in their lives, ever. And even their science is screwed up that they believe. Here's a personal story. I'll relate this to you. I've heard so many of these. I just pulled out a couple. Here's one. A patient reported her doctors told her, whoops, gave you the wrong anesthesia. Immediately, her previous food allergies came back, and they told her the next 3 months would be horrible because of this. I about fell out. When I was telling you all the lies doctors tell, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, this is one of them. Whoops, we gave you the wrong anesthesia. Can you imagine that the last thing you hear as you drift halfway between life and death? Oh, what'd they say? Count backwards from 10, 10, 9. Hey, we gave her the wrong anesthesia. As you slip into a blanket of anesthesia. Oh, man. Oh, that's a nightmare. I'm telling you. Next. Another patient had to have his AC unit serviced. I've told this a few times, but this is an allergy class. So his repairman, he told me this firsthand. He said, man, my repairman said this. Some companies won't warranty their parts within a certain mileage radius of chemical plants. The parts will degrade sooner due to the amount of air pollution, the amount of pollution in the air. And I said, well, that's metal parts on the outside of your house in your air conditioning unit? He said, yeah. My first question was what? What's it doing to you? He said, yeah. So is it possible that these places, I don't want to mention them, but is it possible that those very well known, and I'm probably leaving out a handful of others that I don't know about, those are just the ones that he knew. Is it possible that Cleveland is not the number 2 place in all of the world except some little tiny village in China because of the pollen and the Gulf Stream and how the winds interact? Is it possible that Cleveland has crappier pollution in the air and that's why everybody thinks they have allergies? Is it possible? Yes. I'm going to prove to you that that's the truth. Another patient actually worked at Olin for 40 years. She told me this last week. I said, oh, honey, that's good. Say that again. I got a class on this next week. Look at, no one drove their nice car out there because the air will corrode the metal on your car. I've got people back here nodding that no, right? Nobody drove their new car, their nice car. The higher-ups would never drive their nice car. They had a beater car that they would drive out there. I said, are you serious? She said, oh, yeah, everybody knew that. She worked there 40 years. Wow. I'm like, oh, say that one more time, my friend. That's going in class. Next. So, this is great. I love this. I was just, digging through some notes the other day in preparation for this class. Here's what Randy Tent said. Oh my God, he's wonderful. And I can just hear his voice. Today's kids, you got your EpiPen? Check. Peanut allergy? Check. Retainer? Check. Inhaler? Check. Antihistamine? Check. Ritalin? Check. Gluten-free lunch? Check. Look at the playground equipment of the past. They had to remove it because all your kids trip over a chalk line. So once again, are the kids getting healthier or sicker? Nobody I knew growing up had one of these, one of those, one of the. Well, no, I had one of. I never had one of those. Never had that. Didn't know what that was. Right? Kids are getting sicker. Girls think they're boys. Boys think they're girls. Men think they're women. Supreme Court justices don't know what a woman is. It's getting crazy. So since Divine Design Natural Health beginnings in 2014, I have yet to see a severely allergic patient fail to completely dismiss their allergies altogether. To mainstream medicine, there is no cure. So the people who came in here that said they have allergies, no, you don't. Not anymore. Not after tonight. So let's get right down to it. Oh, and here's one too. Check this out. This is a new one probably to a lot of you guys. Have you heard of I'm allergic to mammal meat? It's all the rage. This is the new disease. It's called alpha-gal mammal meat allergy. And this, I figured this out September 19th, 2020. This was smack in the middle of the COVID's hoax. So the Women's Health, I have alpha-gal syndrome when a tick bite causes a meat allergy. So once again, the weaponized ticks that carry man-made diseases can then latch onto you and give you something where people think that they're now allergic to meat. What does that sound like? Sound like another reason for people to latch onto vegetarianism and veganism? Make people afraid that they can't have mammal meat? Well, I got news for you, sister. You are a mammal and you got meat. So you're allergic to yourself. Think of that. Who made that up? Who made that up? I'm not discrediting people who have this thing. I'm just saying it ain't what they're telling you it is. It can't be. You're a mammal and you have meat. Next. Oh, by the way, they're well, we'll talk about that in a minute. They're making cannibalism very normal now. Have you noticed this? No, you will. We'll talk about it. Commercial break. Come on up, darling. Yes, yes.
Okay, so this patient says, I was on 4 meds and 3 inhalers for allergies. I had pneumonia, congestion, and a cough during the spring and fall and was getting allergy shots every week. Now I'm off 4 meds, 3 inhalers, and no longer need 4 allergy shots a week. I no longer react to pollen, can go outside, and I can work in the yard without wheezing. I can live again.
Wow. Right on. See how easy it is? All right, let's meme what we say and say what we meme. Check this out. You laugh, but isn't it true? Yeah. I wish it wasn't. Very, very sad. Oh, by the way, what does vacca mean in Italian? In Latin, vacca. That's what it means in Italian, Spanish, and Latin. Vacca is where we got the word, that means cow. That's where the word vaccine came from. If you don't know what that's all about, go back and watch my class on pharmakia and go back and watch my class Darkness to Light, Exposing the Lies, part 6 and part 10. And I show you, and Shoppocalypse, thank you, Shoppocalypse, where I show you that vaccines are actually Molech worship. It's a cow, right? What kind of critter was Molech? Well, vacca comes from cowpox. Vacca, right? Vacca, it's a cow. That's not an exaggeration at all.
No, out of the Old Testament.
It's right straight out of the Old Testament. And we look back on those people in the Old Testament like, oh, they were so stupid. How could they have believed that? You just got a lot of people at church believing this. Next. Oh, leading cause of coincidences. Yep. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know it's kind of dark, it's spooky. Next. But you gotta. Oh, God.
Oh, gosh.
If you don't know that movie, I can't recommend it, but it's The Shining with Jack Nicholson. Very famous movie. This is the ladies' room. Not a bio. I'm sorry, you're going to see a lot of funny stuff about biology thing because of people in this country that don't know what a woman is anymore. By the way, you're seeing men go to women's sports, but are you seeing women go to men's sports? You're seeing men become women, but are you seeing women become men? Think about why it goes one way and it doesn't go the other way. There's a very specific reason. Next, we might not talk about it on camera because, I'll get hate mail. Should I eat more vegetables? Well, let's not jump to conclusions. Here's some pills. And most of the time they say, well, if you're going to take this prescription, it's dangerous to eat green vegetables with this drug.
Right.
The only thing a medical doctor can tell you about food is what not to eat when they give you a certain pill. Oh, don't drink grapefruit juice with this one. It'll kill you. Grapefruit juice. Yeah. Next. Triple jabbed, celebrating 5G being switched on. So you've got nanoparticle self-assembling graphene oxide metals injected into you that can track and trace you down to within feet of where you currently are via the 5G network. You're going to go through backscatter radiation machines. You're going to go through metal detectors. You're going to have MRIs. You're going to be running, biking, hiking, walking. Then let's say you eat a bunch of food with a bunch of crap in it. Then you drink some tap water with a bunch of fluoride in it. And then let's say you take some pharmaceutical drugs that then interact with all this stuff. And then they flip the 5G on. What do you think is going to happen? Next. We taught a whole class, the 5G pentagram. You might want to go check that one out. Overview. Here we are. Allergies are a nuisance to people all over the world. 10% of the world's population suffers from food allergies alone. Did you know that? In the US, 55% of the population tests positive to one or more allergens, and more than 50 million Americans suffer from allergies each year, and that number only continues to grow. Nearly all offered solutions are pharmaceuticals. It's a little bit of an overview. Okay, let's get into the symptoms and the diagnosis side of things. Well, you know what, and let me say this too, before we go further. I'm not belittling anybody who has allergies. I grew up, let me just tell you, 10 cent story of my past. Having horrible allergies, I've told this story a few times, horrible allergies. Hey, well, you know what, I couldn't even drink cow's milk when I was a baby. So they got me goat's milk. I don't remember. They tell me I was there. I don't recall. But we had goat's milk for me because I couldn't drink cow's milk. Grow up, we have cattle and pigs and chickens and horses and everything. Every time I would go outside, my dad's mowing the lawn, I cough, I sneeze. I get around the horses, I cough, I sneeze. As I get older, it gets worse. So I go outside and we're, baling hay and we're doing, throwing manure and this and that. And it would just get worse and worse and worse as I got older. So I started hating going outside, right? Well, then, I get to be like 18 or whatever. I'd grown up with a lot of bee stings. I get one bee sting one time and it knocks me down. And 20 minutes later, I think, I can barely breathe. And the sun's getting really hot and I'm sweating and itching in places that I didn't even know I had. Like under your fingernails. How do you itch under your fingernails, right? If you've ever had a bee sting or a heavy duty wasp sting or something like that, and you ever had a reaction, like you itch under your eyelids. It's phenomenal. You never think it's possible, but it's like, wow, what is going on right now? That sun just got really hot, right? Go to the hospital, anaphylactic reaction. Here's an EpiPen. You're going to have to carry this every day for the rest of your life. Oh, perfect. Great. Didn't know anything back then. Did it thinking, well, I'm not going to die because of a bee sting. This sucks. But that's the kind of stuff that people live under, that burden, not knowing anything new. So I come to you with solutions saying, hey, the reason why everybody's getting more and more seriously affected by bug bites is because everyone's getting more and more toxic. The problem's getting worse. They're taking more ibuprofen. They're using more hand sanitizer, flame retardants, crappy stuff in their houses, antibiotics, pharmaceuticals, vaccines. So when the food intolerances go up, guess what happens to your blood? It gets more unable to handle a toxin. You get bit by something, stung by something, bit by something, and then all of a sudden you have an anaphylactic reaction. Your airway closes down, and guess what? You're in a deep hunk of trouble, right? So just know that. That's kind of my story. But years later, figured it all out. And well, no, I didn't figure it out. I just kind of got stung by a bee years later. It never affected me. I thought, I grew out of it. No, I just started living healthier and I didn't know it. You can do the same thing. So everyone says here in Cleveland that they've been tested for everything. They're allergic to everything. Everybody who comes in here, it's like, I'm allergic to my cat. I'm allergic to my dog. I'm allergic to the grass. I'm allergic. Ragweed is the big one we hear around here. Doesn't matter. But I love allergies. They're easy to fix. Heart conditions, digestive problems, lung problems, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So all of that stuff is super easy to fix. Here, let's get back into this. Allergies occur when your body's immune system overreacts to an allergen, right? Which is a particle in the environment that is normally harmless, such as pollen or cat dander. Some examples of allergens, right here, there's a list of them. One potential cause for such a high rate of allergies is the excess use of antibiotics. Did you know that? Antibiotics. We'll talk more about this, which negatively affects the immune system, causing it to hyperreact. People affected by allergens have an increased risk for developing asthma. And then people with asthma have an increased risk of developing eczema and psoriasis. Next. So here's the symptoms and diagnosis. Can affect many areas of your body, such as the nasal passages, skin, intestinal tract, lungs. Allergens affect so many areas. There's a wide variety of possible associated symptoms. Itchiness, postnasal drip, swelling, wheezing, sneezing, shortness of breath, even vomiting or diarrhea. Furthermore, exposure to allergens can cause symptoms to present within minutes or may take days. Some people say, well, I have a food allergy. I ate bread yesterday. It can't be the bread. Well, it can take a day or two to show up. Who knows? Next. Most commonly used allergy test by the medical community is the scratch test. They will do it on your back or your arm. It'll be a bunch of little pricks on your skin with a bunch of different antigen or a bunch of different problems, a bunch of different pathogens and things like that. Blood tests can further detect levels of specific antibodies if you're doing IgG and IgA and IgE, but it takes days to get them back, and they're more expensive. Annual testing is often the practice for determining whether allergies to milk, egg, soy, and wheat have been outgrown. And the testing interval is extended to 2 to 3 years for allergies to peanuts, tree nuts, fish, and crustaceans, shellfish. So annual testing, we'll talk more about this. I'm going to show you a place, actually, that I just Google searched, and this is what you would find if you were an allergy sufferer, and this is the route that you would go. These are your options available to you. And I'll show you what we do that's different. Next. Medical treatment, what are they going to do? Well, it's a primary method of treating allergies is by instructing the patient to stay away from the stuff that made you sick. But sometimes it's not even possible. Treating the symptoms with pharmaceutical prescriptions or over-the-counter drugs that depress your body's immune system to the allergens, that's the only other thing you could do. I'm going to show you on Big Allergy Practices website. I'm going to show you. This is exactly what they tell you. Such drugs include antihistamines, decongestants, and steroids. So histamine, is that a natural thing in your body? It's a natural thing in your body. So you take an antihistamine, and now you're doing an unnatural thing to shut down a natural process in your body. Decongestants, people think the congestion is the problem. Not necessarily. You take a decongestant and it just makes you do this, right? So you can cough stuff out. Not necessarily a good thing. And then steroids will throw you into a whole different whirlwind of big problems farther down the road. So medical treatment. Then, here we go. What do we do that's different? Treating allergies with medications can be effective at decreasing symptoms. But there are some people who find little to no relief. A lot of people. And the farther you take the steroids, the longer you take them, and the antihistamines and the decongestants. Do you get rid of your allergies, or you just become dependent on the drugs, and then the drugs don't work anymore? Then what happens? The dosage goes up, or they change the prescription from drug 1 to drug 2, which can cause problems as well. Many people who find no relief, like most medications, there are many side effects, some of which are potentially deadly. Furthermore, treating allergies with medication does not address the main problem of why the body is overreacting to the normally harmless particle, right? Next. So what do we do? Well, we support the physiology of the body with special concentration on the immune system, right? The immune system, if you have a fully functioning, heavy-duty, hardcore immune system, you don't need to be worried about COVIDs or about smallpox or about pollen. Okay? If the immune system is functioning properly, it is able to respond appropriately to anything it encounters. Additionally, we help patients identify and remove specific things causing their symptoms. If it's a Diet Coke that you're allergic to and you're drinking a lot of Diet Coke, guess what's going to happen? Many patients respond quickly, favorably to this natural method of treatment, which addresses the cause of the problem rather than suppressing the symptoms, right? So here's the question you have to ask. Why is the body, if this is happening, you have to ask yourself, why is the body overreacting to an otherwise harmless particle? And here's the answer. and we'll come back and I'll explain it. Your body's overreacting to a harmless particle because your tank is full, and it trips that switch, and you've got an allergic reaction, which can be watery eyes, runny nose, or it can be a full-blown anaphylactic shock like me getting stung by a bee. My tank was full, and all of a sudden, it's overflowing. Okay, so with that thought in mind, keep that in mind. We're coming right back. Commercial break. Give Lauren a round of applause.
Okay, this is a great testimonial here. My husband and I both struggled with allergies for years. Every time we go to the mountains or around trees, we both start sneezing, can't breathe, and get watery eyes. This made it hard for us to enjoy the beautiful Tennessee nature. This past week, we went to the mountains for a family trip. We were both concerned about allergies, but neither of us had any issues while we were there. We even got to go on a hike for once. This is all because the care we have received at Divine Design and because of changing our diet and lifestyle. So they got to finally enjoy Tennessee for once.
Can you imagine? Yeah, no kidding. So can you imagine, like, you can't go outside, you can't be around trees. Good luck with that. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? Okay. Mean what you say. Say what you mean. Revelation. Merchants were the great men of the earth. For by their pharmakia all nations were deceived. That's one of the 4 places where the word pharmakia is mentioned, and you would avail yourself of figuring out what that means in the Greek. Next. The truth is, you have some crazy conspiracy theory friends trying harder to save your life than any medical professional or government entity ever has or ever will. Why do you think we've been teaching these classes? During 2020, we taught every week because there was so much crap happening and so many new things coming out every week. We're like, well, I know people aren't going to take the time to learn this or do this. Censorship was going full force. They were shutting down anybody that didn't agree with the narrative. We moved all of our stuff over to BitChute and Rumble. We got completely off YouTube. They kicked us off YouTube. Then they kicked us off Vimeo. We don't agree with the official narrative, so they shut you down, right? What if we could, remember the front line thing? I'm in the front lines. We're getting people better. They're the ones telling you that they don't know what a woman is. Think about it. So the truth is, we'll fight harder for you than your medical doctor or the government ever has. Next. That one's an award winner right there. And the funny thing, I showed this to Nadia. She's got English. Her dad's from England. And she said, the funny thing about that is none of these guys are able to do anything. They can't move. Oh, right? Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, this poor guy. And all his buddies standing there, and they can't even touch him. Oh, it's horrible. It's funny, but it's horrible. Okay. But you're completely done with the parade of nonsense. Yeah. And here's conspiracy theorists, otherwise known as people capable of pattern recognition. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's recognizing patterns. Okay. Next. Okay. Wow, the fortune cookies here really are more accurate. And then this says for those in the nosebleed section, social media will ban you for speaking out about government atrocities. Ha! We were just talking about that, weren't we? Yep. Next. Okay, so your question. I can hear it. Okay, so if I don't have allergies, if it's not the pollen, like what they've told me for decades, what exactly is happening? Well, let me show you. Number one, just like that testimonial that Lauren read, number one is processed foods. Food is now mostly fake. So if there are health foods, think about this. If there are health foods, then what should we call the rest of it? Wheat, oats, corn, soy, pasteurized or cooked dairy, and baby formula. See, this goes back to me. I was drinking pasteurized. In other words, pasteurized. When you see the word pasteurized, think superheated. So milk is not supposed to be pasteurized. You're not supposed to be. Pasteurized milk is foreign. There's foreign proteins in it to your body because it changes the structure, right? So I couldn't drink milk when I was a kid, cow's milk, so they gave me goat's milk, remember? But this pasteurized cooked dairy, bad problem. Baby formula, bad problem for a lot of people. This is why we also offer a solution to this problem that I won't speak about on camera, because in some states it's illegal to even have it. Not here. Here it's okay. I won't talk about it on camera, but afterwards, if you want to ask me, we have a solution to this problem that is delicious and nutritious, and it's available right here. One thing that you'll notice, if you do this long enough, you'll see people, they'll go to Europe, and they'll say, man, I ate bread over there and I didn't have any problem. Why would that be? Anybody? It's not chemically altered. It's not genetically modified. Depends on where you go. But specifically, it seems like Italy and France, they don't try to kill their own citizens. They experience no wheat allergies. And I have a story about that, too, down in Florida. I was training one weekend, a bunch of doctors. We all went out to eat. It was this pizza place. And I thought, man, maybe I'll get a salad. Somebody chose it, and we all just kind of followed along. And we walked in, and the guy came over to the table. It was a mom and pop little pizza place. And he comes over. He says, I'm from Italy. And we have the best stuff here, and make whatever you want. And if you have any wheat or gluten problems or whatever, you won't have those here. And one of the doctors is like, what are you talking about? Because I am gluten sensitive. And she was all, butthurt about it. And he said, no, we don't have any type of stuff here that's going to mess you up. We don't have Roundup. We don't have, genetically modified stuff. He says, I'm from Italy. I import it all myself. Like, we don't buy that stuff. We don't try to kill our own people. She's like, really? He says, yeah, if you eat this stuff and you get sick from it, I'll buy it. I'll pay for it. And we're all like, yeah, okay. He took such pride in his work, and you see him in the kitchen, throwing the pizza, and it all comes out. It's the best pizza. I mean, it was unbelievable. And she didn't have a problem with it. So you'll see that. What's the problem? What's one of the problems? Processed food. I'm not saying it's the problem. I'm saying it's one of the problems, right? Next. Oh, and here's a little thing differently arranged than the last time we showed it, but this is all of the food companies and the major corporations that own them. So here you have Nestle, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, Unilever, PepsiCo, Kellogg's, Mars. Anybody know where Mars is located?
Here.
About 1 mile that way, right? And then General Mills. My mom retired from Kellogg's, Battle Creek, Michigan. General Mills was right around the corner. The capital, the cereal capital, what was it? Capital City, Cereal City, USA is what it was called. Cereal City, USA. Battle Creek, Michigan. Mondelez, I know nothing about that. Johnson & Johnson. Where's everybody been hearing about Johnson & Johnson lately? Huh? Oh, wait, is that the jab makers? Yes, you're right. You're right. Huh, they make food too. Weird. Huh. I wonder what those two things have in common. Kraft, Heinz, now one company, but you get the picture. There's like 10 companies out there that control. This is all processed food. If you don't want to live on this grid, guess what? You eat Farmer Joe, grass-fed cattle. You eat, veggies pulled out of a field down the street here. You're not on this grid. These processed food prices go up with the Biden inflation. You're not affected. See? We save you a lot of money. Next. What's your question? Your question is, so what if it's allergies? What exactly is happening if it's not the pollen, or if it's not the cat dander, or the dust, or the dust mites, or the mold? Here's another option. GMO plants. So we're swapping genes between organisms, and that produces foreign proteins, unknown side effects, and bodily responses often labeled as allergies. In other words, if you have that soy, genetically modified soy, which all of it in the United States practically is, and then you eat that, you're eating proteins and things, unrecognizable molecules to your body that never existed in nature before. What's your body going to do with it? React to it somehow. Will you have indigestion, bloating, gas, diarrhea, projectile puking? Perhaps. Or will it just manifest itself as a little tiny rash or some kind of breathing problem? Sky's the limit. Never stops. Combine the GMO foods, the GMO plants, with the the processed foods from the last one, and you're in second grade now, right? And here's the deal too. Now that we have GMO plants out there, what happens when they throw pollen in the air? If they throw pollen in the air, if they even allow them to make pollen, is your body going to recognize that pollen in your nasal cavity as something natural or something unnatural? Unnatural. Number 3. Next, toxic chemicals. Okay, like what? Oh, I don't know. All the crap that's increasing every year. Herbicides, pesticides, personal care crap, chemical cleaner crap, Glade, Febreze, Renuza. You can't get trash bags that aren't sprayed with Febreze, right? It's nuts. Candles, perfumes, colognes. I see some people in public walking, and I'll just be walking behind somebody, and I will It's like somebody sprayed their cologne in my face. I smell them 100 yards away. It's unbelievable. Contact solution, you would be shocked at how much contact solution and how many eye drops. People come in and they're like, my eyes are so dry, my eyes are screwed up, my eyes are watering all the time. Do you wear contacts? Yes. What kind of contact solution do you use? Never thought about it. Or, hey, are you doing eye drops? Yeah. What kind? Never thought about it. And they're having a reaction to the stuff they've been putting in their eyes for 15 years because now they're finally getting healthy and their body is doing what? Yep, you'd be shocked all the times that happens. I've got a pile of eye products that people have brought to me over the years in one of the rooms here, one of the cabinets, all the contact solution and stuff like that. It's crazy. Yeah, look at what's in your contact solution. Next. What else we got? Oh, yeah, this is one of my favorites. Which tissues or paper towels are you using to blow your nose? You've got nose inflammation, sinusitis, stuff like that. Hey, are you using those Kleenexes with the lotion in there? That ain't natural, right? Here's one little thing. I was watching, as many of you know, like I have an addiction to forensic science and some of the shows. And I remember one time I was watching Forensic Files and they explained that during manufacturing of Kleenex and paper towels and stuff like that, certain little fragments of metal are left in the tissues. And the fibers can be observed when you burn it or when you ash the paper when it's burnt. And then you can use mass spectrometry and gas chromatography and all this other stuff to like measure what metals are actually in that Kleenex, and you can match it to a suspect or a victim or whatever. Fascinating stuff. And I thought to myself, well, that's one place toxic metals come from. What if you're just shoving Kleenexes up your nose all day? What if that's not the only place that you're getting it? That's one that's very surreptitious and not many people know about. I just happened to hear it on Forensic Files one night and was like, I never thought of that one. Here's another list. Check this out. Toxic metals, where would they come from? We ingest heavy metals, and I know you can't see this in the nosebleeds. So we ingest heavy metals and other contaminants through everyday living from sources such as the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat. What do I say? Food, air, water. Always, always, always. That's why we do classes. We do classes on food, classes on air, classes on water. The graphic below shows 7 heavy metals commonly found within the body, including the source through which they enter the body and the organ or system they affect. So you see aluminum, arsenic, nickel, mercury, chromium, cadmium, lead, okay? Symptoms of heavy metals toxicity: allergies, anemia, anxiety, autoimmune stuff, bloodshot eyes, brain fog, compromised immune system, dark eye circles, depression, deranged mineral profiles, dry skin and hair, eczema, facial asymmetry, fibromyalgia. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Headaches, insomnia, panic attacks, tinnitus, symptoms of once again, this is symptoms of heavy metal toxicity. So all of these here, basically, food, air, and water. Food, air, and water. The top 7 coming from your food, air, and water, right? All these metals, where are they coming from? Industry, Olin, Wacker, right? Procter & Gamble, there's a Merck right down the street here. God, I left out all the Procter & Gamble, Merck, Duracell down here, Bowater, oh my gosh, right? Then here, ways of exposure to heavy metals. Well, amalgam fillings, the big black ones in your head. Antibiotics, arsenic from rice, contrast MRIs. When you get the radioactive thing injected for you to go through a big magnet so they can take a picture and tell you nothing's wrong. Yeah, that. Environmental pollution, geoengineering. Geoengineering, what is that again? The government calls it geoengineering. Another word would be chemtrails. But if you call it chemtrails, they'll think you're nuts. If you call it geoengineering, you're working for the government. Just look it up. Heavy metals, industrial exposure, lead from broths cooked with bones from conventionally raised animals. Wow. Think about it, man. All the different ways that metals can get into your body. Old copper water pipes, silicone and saline implants in the body. Who has those? Come on, ladies. Who has those? Yeah, there you go. Everybody's looking at me. Steroid shots. Oh, look at that. Another way of getting heavy metals, tattoo ink. Broken thermometers and light bulbs. Another way of getting heavy metals, Vaccines. We'll talk about that more. So we've already talked about processed foods, GMO plants, toxic chemicals, toxic heavy metals. What else? If I don't have allergies, what exactly is happening? Check this out. Oh, we already talked about antibiotics. What do the antibiotics do? Makes your allergies worse, right? What about anesthesia? You know, as you're drifting off into halfway between life and death, and they say, whoops, we gave her the wrong anesthesia. Remember that nightmare we talked about? Over-the-counter stuff and prescription varieties. I'm not even going to go into this. We talk about this all the time. However, all you need to do is go to drugs.com or Hippocrates or Epocrates. Type in the drugs that you're on. It's a simple search engine provided by the drug companies so that you know what you're taking. And then you can look at your symptoms, and I guarantee you some of your allergic symptoms are coming from drugs. If you're on drugs. If you're not on drugs, then guess what? We just ruled out one thing it's not. Chemtrails, geoengineering. Last Monday, was it, Lauren? What was it? Last Monday, we were getting dosed. Checkerboards in the sky. Tuesday, awful weather. Wednesday, awful, wasn't it? Halfway awful? Thursday was tornado. So mid-April, they're spraying stuff. Why are they spraying stuff? They're telling you what? They're trying to save you from global warming. Climate change, right? Making you the enemy. So just look it up. And we have a whole class called Hands in the Air just a couple months ago. You can go on the website, check it all out. But chemtrails, we won't talk a whole lot about it. Are you breathing this stuff in? Every day. And now they're dropping smart dust. So you might want to go check out the Hands in the Air class and see what's actually being dropped on you and your plants and your gardens and your kids. Next. Number 7. Oh, yeah. Nice day. I think I'll sit outside. 30 minutes later, an hour later, you're like, oh, here comes a tornado. Perfect. Are they changing the weather? Yeah, that's part of it. They admit. They admit why they're changing the weather, why they want to change the weather. They want to, hell, Bill Gates, if you listen to what he says, he wants to black out the sun. That's not a conspiracy theory. He writes books about it. Next. So if I don't have allergies, what exactly is happening? Well, we talk a lot about this. We'll blaze through it. Vaccines and other foreign injectants. Not real popular talking about this these days. You get labeled a conspiracy nut, but look what's happening. People are getting an experimental bioweapon injected into their body that changes their DNA, and they don't think twice about it. Injected past the body's primary defenses. Everything's supposed to get into your body through your nose or your mouth. Even if you have a cut and a puncture wound, your body has white blood cells that can respond to that. But if you just go ahead and indiscriminately inject stuff past your skin right into your blood, there's no defense to that. We'll talk more about this here. Latex covering of vaccine vials. Why is everybody allergic to latex? How would latex get into your blood? Turn the vaccine vial upside down, take it like this, shove the needle into the vaccine thing, do the pull out, and you're sucking latex into the hypodermic needle. Then I go bloop, and I inject it right into your bloodstream. You do that enough times, you'll have a latex allergy. Peanuts and egg albumin are in many, many, many vaccines. Want to know why our kids can't take Snickers bars to schools anymore? Want to know why everybody's allergic to eggs? Right there. Oh, God, it's a topic I've taught. What? Shotpocalypse, Darkness to Light Part 6, Darkness to Light Part 10, why your kids are sicker than you. I talk on vaccines ad nauseum, and it gets crazy. I just get sick of talking about it because it's so simple and so easy. But people still don't get it. And all vaccines contain the top 5 stressors. This is one point. You will never hear this anywhere else. Right here. You ready? All vaccines contain food problems. The foods that you have a problem with. There's wheat, there's corn, there's oats, there's soy, there's egg. They contain pathogens, bacteria, virus, fungus, parasite, whole 9 yards, right? They contain chemicals to preserve them and adjuvants. They contain metals, and when you poke them into your skin, what does it leave behind? Even if you don't feel it? A scar. So everything in nutritional analysis that can cause a problem is in a vaccine. It doesn't get much simpler than that. Okay, next. I'll read this for the nosebleeds. Ma'am, I want to inject your baby with mercury, aluminum, MSG, gelatin, peanut oil, egg embryo, aborted fetal tissue, and formaldehyde. What? No. And he says, well, don't worry. Those are just the ingredients of a regular vaccine. She goes, oh, well, that's okay then. The word vaccine, because of Molech, has a spell over it. There's a spirit over that word. Just like there's a spirit. You know where all the names of all the drugs come from? I'm telling you. I'm going to bring you some stuff in the near future. All the names of the drugs are demons. I know, it's hard to believe. It's crazy. Hard to believe, but I'm going to wrap your mind around that like a telephone pole one of these months. I'm working on it right now. But all these names are ancient names of demons. Losartan, Xanax, Zoloft. Think about it. I've had a hypothesis about it for a long time, but I heard recently of a pastor casting out spirits, and he went by the spirits by the names of the drugs that the people were on, casting out the spirits with the names. And I said, that's it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. He said, get out of him, spirit of Suboxone.
Wow.
And the guy totally changed instantaneously. Next. I know people don't believe in that stuff. I do. So what? EMF radiation. Here goes. Mast cells. Oh, you want to talk on your phone all day and wear your little iPod things in your ears? Reconsider. EMF radiation. Mast cells found in connective tissue throughout your body. Part of your immune system. Very important cells. And they contain histamine, which is a natural part of your body, right? Once triggered, they release histamine into the bloodstream. Mast cell activation syndrome. All of my long-term students, what does syndrome mean in medicine? They don't know what causes it. So when you hear somebody say they have fibromyalgia syndrome, chronic fatigue syndrome, that word syndrome means we don't know where it came from. So mast cell activation syndrome is what they call it. It's release of an inappropriate amount of chemicals into your blood, into your body. And a growing body of research suggests that electromagnetic frequency exposures, cell phones and Wi-Fi, right, are a driver of MCAS. And EMFs can cause mast cells to leak their contents into your tissues. The result can be itching, headaches, heart complications. What? Would you ever think your palpitations and arrhythmias are caused by your iPhone? Depending on where the tissues are located. Women, keep your phone in your bra. A bad idea. Guys, keep your phone in your pocket. Horrible idea, right? So the EMF radiation thing, this is one thing nobody's talking about. You know, why? Because T-Mobile and Verizon, right? A lot of doctors out there sounding the alarms on the smart meters and the EMF, the 5G towers. Did a whole class on it. 5G pentagram, talked about it at the beginning. Let's look at this graphic real quick. Tinnitus, high blood pressure, palpitations, vibratory effects. When people say, "Oh yeah, I've got this," my leg vibrates, the muscle, my quad, my left leg, my thigh, it just vibrates all day. Do you keep your phone in your left pocket? Yeah. Head and neck, intense head pressure, anxiety, anger, ear pain, head pressure, painful, inflamed eyes. I mean, the list goes on. Frequency radiation syndromes. Guess what? All the COVID stuff is on here. All the stuff where people think, oh, I got the COVID. Well, you might, but you probably have 40 or 50 different devices in your house that are all kicking out Bluetooth Wi-Fi, including now the stuff in your veins, which has its own Wi-Fi, has its own Wi-Fi address. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end. Next. All right. You ready for some more commercial breaks from Lauren? Fabulous.
Okay, this patient says, I used to get sinus infections every winter that were terrible, even though I was getting allergy shots, using inhalers, and taking decongestants. Now I take none of those, and this is the first time in 5 winters that I haven't had a sinus infection.
Yay.
First time in 5 winters.
Yeah, 5 winters.
Fabulous. Okay, check this out. Memes. April 1st, the only day of the year that people critically evaluate things they find on the internet before accepting them as true. Yeah, that was just, we found, like 2 weeks ago, yeah. Next. Dad, is that a nuclear blast? I don't know, son, I'm not a physicist. How many of you knew about the I'm not a biologist thing?
No.
Did anybody know?
God help us.
Yeah, yeah, right. This is a grown adult black woman who doesn't know what a woman is, who's going to be,
A biologist.
and she's not a biologist, and she's going, yeah, it's a clown show. It's just all theater, right? It's theater. Next, total theater. This brave trans species athlete just smashed Usain Bolt's world record of 100 meters. So thrilled to see that the cheetah won. God, where's it stop? It doesn't. Next. If you follow the science, it leads to my bank account. Yep. You're a demon. You're possessed. Next. How I feel knowing I didn't trust the science. Yep. Next. Babylon Bee got censored recently. They're doing the right stuff, right? Adam confused by new creature God put in garden as he's not a biologist. Oh my goodness. You see the program though? It's to confuse men, women, the natural order of things, to mess up the seed, to change the plants and the animals. You think they're not changing humans? They've been changing humans for decades. People are mad about the COVID shot and this and that. Man, they've been doing this with vaccines for decades. You just finally found out about it. Thinking people like me were nuts. Yeah? They came out and told you it was going to change your DNA, and you still took it. Oh my God. Next. So here we go. Here's another thing that's just readily available. First page of Wikipedia. Here goes. Differences between countries. Now, think about this. They're telling you it's a particle, just a harmless particle, right? It's telling you we don't know how to fix it. But here, take these drugs. Check this out. This is what people run into, and I share this with you only because it breaks my heart. Check this out. There are differences between countries in the number of individuals within a population having allergies. This is, I forgot about this. The bold part, pay attention to this. Allergic diseases are more common in industrialized countries than in countries that are more traditional or agricultural. There's a higher rate of allergic disease in urban populations versus rural populations. Given what I just taught you, why would that be? Don't look at the rest of this yet. Don't look at the rest of this yet. Say it again.
All the toxins in the city, I mean.
Absolutely, right? So allergic diseases are more common in industrialized countries, yes, that makes sense, than in countries that are more traditional. Like you never heard of a Native American with sinus problems, right? You never heard of an Aborigine with allergies, right? Like they were traditional, agricultural. They knew how to live with the land. Now, higher rate of allergic disease in urban, city populations versus country. Now, here's why. These differences are becoming less defined, of course, they say. But historically, the trees planted in urban areas were predominantly male to prevent litter from seeds and fruits, but the high ratio of male trees causes high pollen counts, a phenomenon that horticulturalist Tom Ogren has called botanical sexism. I just read this and I went, like they just proved the point, like where the allergies are coming from. They just proved it, but then they went and spit on it and said, it's those damn males, it's those damn male trees. And this is what people read, and they go, they don't know any better. They don't know to think critically because they're fluoridated, vaccinated, indoctrinated, food sedated, irradiated, all the stuff. They don't know to think critically and go, this might be a little suspicious. And they read that and they go, you know what? Yeah, okay, next. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is what they do. This is how they trick you. So here's the deal with vaccinations, too, that you might need to know. The ancient Greeks and Romans knew that injection was a method of medicinal delivery from observations of what?
Snake bite.
Snake bites. So when you get a vaccine, guess where it came from? The idea came from a snake bite. Why do they wear snakes on their name tags? Think about it. And poisoned weapons. So even if you didn't like the snake bite idea, do you want a poison dart shot into your arm? Think about it. In 1660, before the vaccinations became what they are now, we used animal bladder, goose quills to kind of push stuff into the skin, but never before was it injected right into the blood. Think about that. It fell out of favor for 200 years, and then in 1860s, we got hypodermic needles. No allergies were observed. I'll show you a quote until hypodermic needles, proving this. I'll show you a quote here in a minute. Autoimmune diseases and cancers took off when? Polio vaccine. Evil Parents of Autoimmunity, a class we taught a couple years ago, will tell you where every autoimmune condition is coming from and tell you how to fix it. And they're coming out with new ones every day. And like I said, they're going to have an autoimmune condition for every cell in your body very soon. Every cell in your body. If you have lung cells that are autoimmune where your body doesn't know what's going on and it's attacking itself like you're told all the time. If you have lung cells, it's going to be this disease. If it's blood cells, it's going to be this disease. If it's bone cells, it's going to be this disease. It's never going to end. And they'll have a vaccination for every one of them. I promise you. Next, the mirror injection. Here goes. Here's a world-leading epidemiologist telling you right here, the quote, where it all comes from. The mere injection of material in the body is a medical problem because it will always create an inflammatory response, and the body's need to reject and attack that material. You are injecting foreign material into your blood. It will always create an inflammatory response. Done deal. Drop the mic, walk off stage. Period. Exclamation point. No questions asked. Settled. You put something in your body that doesn't belong there, it's going to inflame it. Duh. Duh. Why are we having so many food allergies? They're food proteins in the vaccines. Vitamin K shot, you got egg, phospholipid, and castor oil. Still think the vitamin K shot's good? No, they give you the vitamin K shot because they don't believe in the baby's ability to clot. Why? Because they're not checking its blood on day 8. So they poison it with the vitamin K shot. Simply search the literature. Does castor oil cross-react with peanuts and tree nuts? The answer is yes. You used to be able to Google search that. Now you can't. You can't look up the right information anymore. See, I'm doing this with a Google search, showing you what you'll find if you don't know any of this, because the information, it's all fake. Sorry, you're not going to find it in the textbooks either. Next. Allergies were unheard of before the invention of the hypodermic needle. Let that sink in. What about... Never mind. Let's just read this. Allergies were an unknown phenomenon. Hypodermic means below the skin. This was the birth of allergies. The birth of allergies. Remember when the dude discovered allergies? He said 1906. When did hypodermic needles hit? 1860s. See the timeline? This was the birth of allergies, bypassing oral and nasal transmission. So many kids are now allergic to peanuts. You got the Hib vaccine for meningitis. It uses peanut oil. These are trade secrets not easily disclosed by vaccine makers. They're not going to put the ingredients in the thing so that Merck can copy Pfizer. Think about it, right? Hib is a series of 4 injections over time. Molecular structures of some proteins in the Hib bacterium resembles peanuts, so the body mounts an immune response to peanuts. This confuses the body. You have a life-threatening reaction to peanuts. And you also got peanut oil in your blood. It never went through your digestive process. So all the kids are allergic to peanuts, and they're wondering why. They can't take Snickers to school because it'll blow up kids' heads. It's crazy. And you're wondering why your kids are sick? Right here. It's part of it. But the foods, the GMOs, the chemicals, the metals, all the crap, the drugs, the vaccines, it's only a short list of things once you narrow it down, right? All right, now here's a little exercise, and this is it right here. Here's a little, and then there's a special treat at the end for some of you who might want to understand the vaccinated versus unvaccinated. Have they ever done a study to show in kids if you took a population of vaccinated kids and a population of unvaccinated kids, you compare them. What do you think you'd find? They didn't do it until 4 years ago. I'll show you. It's a simple Google search. All I did, here's what I did. I went to Google, which I never use Google, but I did for the sake of you all beautiful people. And I went to Google and I said, Cleveland, Tennessee, allergy treatment, I think is what it was. Here's one of the very first things that came up. I want you to see this. Allergy and asthma treatment for the entire family. You in the nosebleeds might not be able to see it, but right here at the top, what's weird about this? What's weird about this? All patients and visitors are required to wear a mask. What's weird about this? Wait, raise your hand if you find something weird about that. What's weird about, you already know. Mark, what's weird about this?
You have a mask on, you can't get anything in the respiratory system.
Yeah, you can't what?
Get anything in the respiratory system.
Right, well, yeah, but why is that weird?
Because you're going in to see what you're breathing in.
What kind of doctor are you going to see? An allergist. You already can't breathe, and they're telling you you have to choke yourself on the way in. Now, just kind of hover over locations, right? This is not a small mom and pop shop, folks. This is Family Allergy and Asthma. Locations, they've got 7 states. They've got 70 or 80 providers. God knows how many nurse practitioners and physician's assistants and nurses. However, go over here to About. So if I was an allergy sufferer, this is what I would find. I would go to About, I'd go to Services, scroll down a little bit. This is crazy. Oh, and look at the top upper right. What do you see in the upper right that sticks out? Can you guys see that from the back? What's in the upper right? Pollen count. They want you to know the pollen count because you haven't been watching enough TV to keep clued in to where the pollen count's at. So they want an updating number on their website so that you can freak yourself out, just like you do with your blood pressure, your glucose, and your bowel movements, everything else. Our services right here, this is interesting. The allergy skin testing is the most reliable form of allergy testing because mast cells, we just talked about, are located in high numbers just under the skin. Results of skin testing are quicker and have been proven to be more accurate than blood testing in diagnosing allergies. I want to read this right here. While avoidance is the best defense, some allergens are impossible to avoid. Some allergens avoidance is the best defense, but you just can't, okay, we kind of knew that, right? Allergists may recommend immunotherapy. What's the problem with that word? Immunotherapy, something you hear all the time, you throw it around, you don't even think about it. What's the word immunotherapy mean? See, where is everybody? What's the word immunotherapy mean? Immunotherapy, this is not a trick question. Immunotherapy. What's immunotherapy mean? Therapy, thank you. Hallelujah. Therapy for your immune system, right? What kind of therapy do you need for your immune system? Your immune system is the therapy. Just crazy, right? Scroll down a little bit. Go to asthma. Where's the asthma one? This is interesting. Scroll down, scroll down. It's the little rolly thing on the mouse. I'm just kidding. Oh, no. Oh, you're really old school. Wow. No, I'm just kidding. He's allergic to mice. It's the mice dander. There we go. Asthma treatment management. Although there is no cure for asthma, see this terminal thinking, how they say there's no cure for asthma. How can you say that? Doesn't that require absolute knowledge to know that there is no cure? And to have absolute knowledge, you would be God yourself, would you not? I mean, this is so crazy. But this is what people find. There are 3 ways to help control your asthma symptoms. Avoid triggers, medicine, and allergy shots. I would probably have rearranged that so it didn't sound like it was telling you to avoid medicine and allergy shots. But basically, the asthma treatment and management is basically medicine and shots, right? Food challenges, they actually talk about here. And then stinging insect testing. You can go in and get a little prick test and find out if you're sick. No cure for asthma. Avoidance. Oh, and go to food challenges right here. Click on services there, Rye. Check this out. Food allergies, when the body mistakes a certain food as dangerous, produces an antibody called IgE. Avoidance is the only treatment for food allergy. Check this out. Food allergy, there's no cure. Neither desensitization nor shots have proven to be a safe or effective way of reducing food allergy reactions. So you're screwed. There's no way around. But the problem, is it the problem that your body is reacting to the food, or is the problem the food itself? Remember my statement at the beginning, never believe that your body is doing something stupid? So let me ask that question again. Is it the fact that the body is attacking the food, or is it a problem with the food? Correct. They just proved my point on their own website. Perfect. About services, go back, go to the allergy shots. There's just a couple more things I want you to look at, and then we'll check out this last thing. Oh, we'll be out of here soon. Go to the allergy shots. Oh yeah, go up. I missed this one. Up here, upper left. View services. There you go. Nope, right here. Thank you. Good. Allergy shots. Check this out. Once again, I'm just showing you this. If I was suffering with allergies and I didn't know any of this, I would go here and this is what I'd find. I'd probably schedule an appointment like so many people have. Allergy testing. Immunotherapy. All allergy occurs when your immune system mistakes a harmless substance. In fact, where is it? Oh, shoot, I can't find it. In fact, where does it say? Allergy shots are the only way to suppress the underlying allergy response. Allergy shots are the only, it's on here somewhere, but it says allergy shots are the only, capital letters only, it says, way to suppress the underlying allergy response. So here's the summary. We can get off there, Rye. That's all I wanted to show you. But this is a major, this is not a mom and pop shop. This is 70 or 80 doctors. And that probably means they have, I don't know, 150, 200 nurses between, what was that, 6 or 8 states? I mean, this is massive, massive, massive thing. How many people are they treating? They're probably treating thousands of people each week between the 7 or 8 locations. Here's the summary. Hypodermic needles led to allergies, right? The standard treatment of allergies is an allergy shot. Take your time. Do you get that? How many people have walked in here and said, I had allergy shot after allergy shot? What was the last one you read?
Oh, yeah.
Weekly allergy shots.
Yeah.
For how many years? The typical, I looked on their website, the typical time frame, they say we start you at 2 years, I believe. 2 to 4 years was the typical time frame for if you go in and they develop a customized treatment plan for you. You're taking shots every week for 2 years. But I don't know, this natural health thing, man, it's a lot of money and it's time, and I don't know if I can do it. But you can go to your allergist once a week for 2 years without asking a question. You know why? Because your insurance pays for it. Best insurance plans always lead to the sickest people. That's why we don't do insurance. There's a reason why. Oh, well, we'll talk about this later. Yeah, we'll just get into the vaccine thing. So here, let's just peel up to this next thing. Let that sink in now. Standard treatment of allergies, as I just proved to you on family allergy and asthma, standard treatment for allergies is the exact thing that caused them. Next. So here's a pilot comparative study. People for years have been asking, why can't we just do a typical study that shows vaccinated kids versus unvaccinated kids? Well, finally, some people did. Back in 2017, showed up in the Journal of Translational Science. At some point in the near future, it'll probably be redacted because everything that ever tells you any type of scientific truth gets censored nowadays. But you can look this up. It's April 24th, 2017, volume 3, number 3, pages 1 through 12. The health of vaccinated and unvaccinated 6 to 12-year-old U.S. children. Here's what happened. Here's the outcome. Here's the story. There are essentially no studies assessing the long-term effects of having 48 vaccines given to small children in such a short period of time. Up that now, 48 vaccines. By the time you're, what is it now? It's 80-something vaccines by the time you're like 12. And they're adding, here's, get this, they're adding the COVID shot to the children's vaccine schedule.
No.
That's what they're doing. You think it's not going to happen? They already pumped the whole entire world full of it. Oh, yeah. They're adding it to the kids' vaccine schedule. So infants, didn't you see? It just got passed for infants a little while ago, right? Am I wrong? I think it just got passed for infants. So we're genetically going to modify all the babies. God, we're screwed. So the data presented shows that such a vaccine schedule is linked to many long-term health outcomes, such as a 3,000% increase in what? The topic of tonight's talk. 2,100% increase in what? The solution, the only offered medical pharmacia solution to the topic of tonight's talk. 800% increase in what? Ear tubes, easily fixable with a chiropractic adjustment. How many people out there got into chiropractic because the doctors told the parents when the kid was sick, we're going to have to put in ear tubes. They take the kid to the chiropractor once. No ear tubes. Crack that infection in a second. Because why? You're moving their cervical vertebra, moving their tonsils, moving their scalene muscles, moving their throat, their trachea, their esophagus, changes their breathing function, changes their digestive function. There is the power of chiropractic. It has nothing to do with neck pain, back pain, or headache. First chiropractic adjustment fixed what? Hearing. Had nothing to do with your neck pain. That's the power of chiropractic, which is why your insurance companies only give you 12 visits a year. See how that works? 590% increased risk of pneumonia. 520% increased risk of learning disability. So if you get your kids shot up, guess what? Are they going to have dyslexia and ADD and autism and all this other crap? Proven by scientific research. You're never going to find this in your universities and in your medical schools. Next. So here's a little something that I put together. The vaccinated versus unvaccinated here, and the increase or decrease in the risk, relative risk, based on the numbers here of, here's how they did it. It was 666 children. Adam, 405 and 261. I found that interesting. You may not. But the number of children here, chickenpox, whooping cough, rubella, for those three, it actually looked like the vaccinated didn't do too bad. But when you look at all these numbers here for everything else, from ear infection, pneumonia, allergic rhinitis, that just means runny nose, other allergies, eczema, atopic dermatitis, learning disability, ADHD, autism, look at that, increased 421%. What? Oh yeah, people, they don't want to know that. They don't want you to know this. No. And there's been even more studies recently in the last 2 years of vaccinated versus unvaccinated. Oh honey, they don't like what this is. Any chronic illness, allergy medication use, it goes up 2,200%. Antibiotic use in the past 12 months. So see, basically what they're saying is if you get vaccinated, you are lined up for ear infections, pneumonia, allergies, skin problems, learning disability, ASD, neurodevelopmental disorder, all you old people with your flu shots wondering why you got the Parkinson's and the old-timers. Any chronic illness, narrow that down a little bit. Well, chronic illness, diabetes, arthritis, allergies. You're going to be on allergy medication. You're going to be taking antibiotics. You're going to be using fever reducers. You're going to visit a doctor for illness in that year. You're going to get ear tubes, and you're going to spend more than one night in the hospital, all because of that. That's what that one study proved at hundreds and thousands of % increase. That's one study. You wait till you see what happens in the next few years. And in closing, so what's the solution? Okay, that's all the bad news. Yeah, I know, you got to tell the bad news. Here's a couple of strokes, here's a couple of pokes, and here's a stroke. Let's say, how do we fix this? Well, here's the stroke. 2 pokes, here's a stroke. Check this out. Oh, no, we got to do another commercial break. I almost jumped right to the ending here.
And I saved the best one for last. This is a long one.
Of course you did. You're a genius.
And this one, I have a feeling all the husbands out there are going to resonate with. So this one wasn't even a patient. It was a husband of a patient. And he wrote, I've struggled with seasonal allergies my whole life, but always just dealt with them. I somewhat instinctively knew that over-the-counter allergy supplements weren't good for you, so I would save them for days where I had an important event or my allergies were particularly bad. Over the course of the last year and a half, my wife and I have completely stopped using over-the-counter or prescription pills or products of any kind since learning about how harmful they really are. With the over-the-counter pills, I wasn't able to mask my symptoms anymore. Without the over-the-counter pills. In my first allergy season of this transitional period, I was starting to crack. My nose and eyes itched constantly, and it was affecting my ability to function at work. At work, I am constantly around dust and other chemicals. After a few days of my nose and eyes leaking profusely for 12 hours at a time, my wife brought home some supplements that Dr. Spradlin recommended. One of them was a dark red liquid that tasted like carrots, and she said that if I drink some with water whenever I start to experience allergy symptoms, it would get better. According to my wife, Dr. Spradlin said it would work very quickly. I was skeptical but willing and desperate to try anything, and if it meant I could get to sleep at night and work without constantly itching with the added bonus of not poisoning myself with chemicals, that could cause some other problem in my body while only masking the one that is there. Well, wouldn't you know it, I drank the strange red liquid and immediately felt better. I was able to sleep that night and took more every 3 to 4 hours during the day. That first week I was working outside where I had previously been sneezing profusely and now didn't have any allergy symptoms at all. I've taken it less and less since then because I've noticed that my need for it is slowly decreasing. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who that was. I have no idea. It kind of sounds familiar, but yeah. I'm gonna have to. I don't remember who that was. Okay, here's let's laugh. I know you guys are dying for some laughs. I knocked this out in 90 minutes. I should get a round of applause. Yeah. Okay, why are we so quick to blame disease on genetics and contagions and not the fact that our food, water, and air are being systematically poisoned? Oh, by the way, remember, what are the 2 things medicine says that cause every disease? What is it? Say it louder.
Germs and genes.
Germs and genes. Thank you. Genes and germs. It's the only thing they can blame it on. If they told you it was toxins, they couldn't give you the drugs because the drugs are toxins. Ha ha ha. Look at that. Are not the fact that our food, water, and air are being systematically poisoned. Systematically. Next. That's why we do classes on food, air, and water. See? Media says spike in myocarditis may be linked to the Ukraine crisis. God, it's unbelievable what's happening. Unbelievable. You just shake your head every day, don't you? The last 2.5 years. Like, how can people, oh yeah, that's right. They're radiated, food sedated, glyphosated. Next. You can deny what you don't know as some conspiracy theory, but you cannot sanely say that you saw skies like this playing outside as a kid. You can't. I grew up with bluebird skies every day. It was none of this crap, ever. I grew up in Michigan, where you would think it would be like this all the time. Well, now it is. But back then, you never saw this. Never. Now, it's almost every day. If you look up, you'll start noticing it. Next. There's a whole class on it. I, too, was once a man trapped in a woman's body, then I was born. Don't ever think that we're going to pander to this namby-pamby vanilla wafer crackhead transgender agenda. Don't ever think that. Ever. Don't you ever think that we're going to bow down to this nonsense. Next. Is it safe? Can we come outside? Where are the guidelines? Hello? Where are the guidelines? We need the guidelines, please. Guidelines. It's sad. It's very sad. Humans, and mostly churches and pastors, are the ones to blame. Next. Science and its mutant monster child, the lying death cult of scientism, have one overriding purpose: separating you from your faith in a divine creator.
Amen. Amen.
Trust the science? I thought, what about trust God? What about trust your faith? What about trust? You know the reason everybody got these shots? Because they're afraid of one thing. What was it? Afraid of death. Because they don't know where they're going. If you know where you're going, do you care? Not at all. Because you win, you die, you win. You stay alive, you win. You die, you win. You stay alive, you win. Guess what? You just removed a whole lot of problems from your life if you just got this one thing straight. Oh, next. Solutions. Okay, you had all the problems. Here's the solutions. Adjustments. We will wreck you. We will wreck you from top to bottom. Standing. We'll do it supine. We'll do it prone. We'll do it face down. We'll do it face up. We'll do it against the wall. We'll do it against the ceiling. We'll do it on the ground. I don't care. So adjustments. That's how you fix this stuff. Too many chiropractic pansies out there not adjusting people anymore. So when I adjust somebody, people go, holy crap, what was that? That's a real chiropractic adjustment. Oh, my chiropractor doesn't do that. Well, I thought you've been going to a chiropractor for 45 years. Well, yeah, and I still have neck pain. Well, the reason you still have neck pain, you've been going to a chiropractor for 45 years, is because he never adjusted you. How did he adjust you? With the clicker. Oh, okay, the clicker. I get it, the clicker. Cervical adjustments, thoracic adjustments. If we adjust your thoracic vertebra, right here, back here, do you think that will change your lung function? If we adjust your cervical vertebra and we move your trachea, right here, this thing, and do you think that will change your lung function? Don't ever think that the power of chiropractic is just in removing pain. Don't ever think that. That's how you do it. Cervical adjustments, did you know we can adjust your tonsils and your ears? We can move your tonsils and your ears. Can we adjust your ears and then your tonsil and then your eustachian tubes will drain? Yes, absolutely. And we just talked about the cervical adjustments and ear tubes, right? We just talked about that. Cold laser. Why would we use cold laser? Cold laser stimulates what? DNA. In the beginning, God said, let there be light. What is cold laser? Light. At the frequency of what? At the same frequency, at the same wavelength as, go back to that previous slide there, Rye. Can you? Do you know how? Don't worry about it. DNA. Oh, yeah. Keep going. You had it. Keep going back. There you go. Super fancy, right? Oh, no.
All the means for
Okay, never mind. Okay, so what does the cold laser do? It stimulates your DNA. What does DNA do? Codes the protein. For what? Your lung tissue, your trachea, your sinus tissue, your spleen, your tonsils, all of your tissues. Number 3, elimination of the toxic, poisonous chemical pharmaceuticals and substances often hidden in plain sight, right? People come in all the time and their eyes are all burned out and their skin's all flamed up and they think they have eczema and psoriasis and rosacea on their face. And I just ask them one question. I go, hey, what kind of perfume do you use? They go, Chanel No. 5. I go, okay, just knock it off. Huh? Yeah, where do you spray it? Oh, I just spray it right. You see the gears go. It's wonderful. It's easy, too simple. So if you're addicted to Chanel No. 5, you might have allergies for a long, long time. And then number 4, diet changes. Well, I like my Diet Coke. Fine, stay sick. Well, I like my barbecue stuff. Fine, stay sick. I don't care. But if you change your diet, your body will get better, and then you'll start to see the results, and you'll go, man, this isn't as hard as I thought. I actually don't like that stuff anymore. So what you could have but don't, what you used to have, what used to have such a hard time saying you don't want anymore is something where you just go, no, you couldn't pay me to eat that because I know what it'll do. All of a sudden you start to renew yourself, right? Your body starts to renew itself by the transforming of your mind. Number 5, clean water. Everything that you do has to start here before it manifests in your body. Number 5, clean water. Well, you know your water's poison, so you got to clean it. Well, but I drink Deer Park. Plastic bottles? Yep. And guess what? Problem. Big problem. So you got to filter your water. It's easy, it's simple, it's cheap, it's affordable. We can show you how to do it. This is what we do with every single patient. Supplements. What kind of supplements? Plants, animals, homeopathic liquids, naturopathic herbal liquids, or we do stem cell. We do all kinds of stuff. Just everybody's different. What you need depends on your diet, your genetics, what you did last week, how stressful your job is, how old you are, how many organs you're missing, how many drugs you've been on for how long. It's different with everybody. And detoxification. Detoxification, what do? Ionic detoxification foot spas, pulse electromagnetic field therapy. We do ionic or infrared sauna therapy. Very simple, very easy things to do for people. Because here's the deal: what we do in 3 months with all the detoxification visits would take you 5 years to do on your own. We'll do it in 3 months. So it's very simple. And then from that point, you just stay clean and you don't keep getting sick. Divine Design, there it is, right there. Solutions. We use 7 things: light, water, heat, electricity, plants, animals, and my hands. So here's the kicker. Nothing we do here can hurt you. It's safe, it's ancient, it's affordable, and it makes sense. All right, that's it. So you do not have allergies, my friend. What you have is a toxin overload chemical cocktail that has been built up and built up and built up. You go outside, you take a face full of pollen, you think it's the pollen. It's not the pollen. There you go. And with that, any questions, thoughts, cries of outrage, anything? Pretty simple. I've never done a class on allergies because it's just too easy. Anybody? Let's sign off. Do we have any spinners tonight? Just one? I'm going to wait until we have more. Oh, do we have 2? Let's do it. All right. You got a few minutes, Rye? Can we do the spin? So I'm going to sign off. We got the handouts?
You don't have your.
You don't have? Okay, fine. We'll do it next time. Dr. Brett Spradlin, Divine Design Natural Health. We will see you in 2 weeks for, what is it? Lies Doctors Tell Part 5. Go back and check out 1 through 4. It might blow your mind. Thank you very much. We got 2, Mark, look at you, dude. Yeah.